asked on my last floss tube if any of y'all would like to see how I finished my Prairie Schooler Birds boxed finish, and I had quite a large response if y'all wanted to know how I did it. It's very simple, so I thought I would show you how I finished these. Again, I'm not an expert by any means. I am a newbie when it comes to finishing. But anyway, I'll share maybe what I've learned along the way, and hopefully you can give me some pointers as well. I would really appreciate that. Anyway, before we get started, there's several things I like to have on hand when I'm doing anything that has to do with fabric and thread finishing. I like to have the tape measure, a flexible tape measure. I also have rulers, quilting rulers for cutting fabric and miscellaneous things. For finishing, I like these sequence pins. They're short little sequence pins, have a very small head, and they're great for pinning. Vanna Pfeiffer showed me a trick, and everybody a trick, how to put your tacky glue upside down in a mason jar, you know, with the lid on, and then when you get ready to use it, it is ready. You know, you don't have to worry about it coming down or getting clogged up. I like to have a Frixion pin, and this is a Frixion ball 7, and this you can mark your fabric, and when you apply heat, it will be removed. Now, it does come back if there's extremely cold temperatures, but where we're going to mark is going to be hidden, so not a big deal. Of course, we need an X-Acto knife for cutting our mat board or foam core, and this is one I just picked up, I think, at Hobby Lobby. I didn't realize that I was going to be doing a tutorial about these Prairie Bird finishes, box finish. Had I realized, I would not have prepared all of my blocks like this. I would have left a couple and done them fully, you know, with you. But I did go ahead and cut, and let me see. I think it was, I tried to do, yeah, an inch. Yeah, an inch away. So I left an inch margin all the way around from the stitching. And then I wanted my fusible fleece or batting to be a 1/4 inch out. So I just measured that. Then I cut these for that size. And I had marked, I was able to mark with my ruler. And like I said, I would have left this, and then I marked with my Frixion pen what I would need all four sides. And then I flipped it over, and you can very simply put a pin in your mark. You know, find your mark here, put a pin in it, and make another. And it would have been right there, you know. So then you can make another mark with your Frixion pin on all 4 corners. And then when you go to your iron and you lay your piece face down, and you iron it visible fleece down with the sticky side, or you can feel that there is glue on that. So you place that down on it. I normally go ahead and heat my iron up while I'm getting things ready. And what I do is I'll place this on my ironing board. I have one of those wool mats, and I will place this on the wool mat face down with the fusible fleece on top, and then I will cover it with a piece of quilting cotton and fuse it down. And I normally, you know, with steam on, I will hold my iron down for approximately 8 seconds, and just I leave it, let it cool completely, and then take it up, and it's fused to the back. So that's ready to go. Both of these are ready to go. And I'm going to pause for just a second, and I'll be right back. To mention is that we need foam core, and I just used regular foam core for these, or that's what I used for these. I didn't get the acid-free. These are not archival pieces that I'm doing. These are just cute little things that I want to use in my home. And the regular foam core, the not archival type, is less expensive than the type you would use for samplers or that type of thing. I purchased this at, I believe, Michael's. And I just got a pack of 3 sheets, and I can cut this up and use it for smalls, and it works great. So it's Foam Core Pro, and this is, I think, a 1/4 inch wide. We're going to go ahead and cut our foam core. This might be a little tricky to do in the camera. Sorry for the bump there. Because my screen doesn't cover my entire mat board here, or cutting mat. So I would like to have the foam core to be the size of what I have marked here with the fusible batting, fusible fleece. So it is, okay, it is 1, 2, 3, 3 3/4. 3, whoops, and 3/4, and it should be square, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces for each one of my finishes. And we need it 3 3/4 wide. I'm cutting and 3/4. Now, one thing that I use all the time when I'm cutting fabric, pretty much when I'm cutting anything, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Y'all might hear the click, click, click of little doggy paws. We've got a new fur kid. I'm so happy that we have a new fur kid. Okay, so we're going to cut this 3 3/4. I'm going to do the same thing, just give it some 1, 2, 3, 3 3/4. Always measure twice, cut once. Okay, that one came loose. One, 2, 3, 3 3/4. Okay. Get that. Hold on to the ruler and then cut. Okay, there's enough for one. We'll use these two for the back. 1, 2, 3 3/4. Get this set in place. Hope y'all can see okay. This is my first time doing a tutorial, so I'm not really sure if it's going to be clear. I know we've got this ring light too, so we're going to use these for the bottoms. I'm going to mark B and B. Okay, so we'll use the others that are cut better for the tops. Okay, now probably the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and line the backs. And what I like to do, let me move this ruler out of the way. We'll pick out some flannel. Color that might go pretty with it. That might be nice with that. I have this big stack of flannel. These are 5-inch squares. Charm packs. This would be pretty too with that. I don't know if that's too busy. This might be too busy. Let's see. I love this color. This color just reminds me of winter. Okay, I'm back. I have sprayed these lightly, and I'm going to go ahead and just set them in place. That's not a permanent adhesive by any means, but it does help to just kind of hold on to it while we get it glued down. There's one more thing I need to get. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. One thing that I forgot to get and tell y'all about, and I learned this from Vanna. She is an amazing teacher. I'm so appreciative of her. She said anytime you're gluing, be sure that you have a damp paper towel or rag with you, because your hands will get very messy. And mine do. They get really messy. So I went and got a couple paper towels, dampened them, and I will just keep that off to the side off of my mat here. Now, the next thing to do, see that's lightly adhesive, nothing major. I'm going to go ahead, now I'm just going to work on one of these at a time, okay? So this is ready to go. Our glue should be all down. Gravity does its work. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing. See, already I have glue on me. So I'm going to work on 2 corners at a time. I just leave it open. Okay, and just glue that down, work it. I don't pull real tight, and it does get messy, but it's okay if the glue comes through the fabric because that kind of gets it to adhere even better. I'll go ahead and do this other side here. That might not be quite enough. I would rather have too much glue than not enough. So I even take it and just wipe it on it, just kind of work it, work it, work it. Sorry for moving the camera. I don't have a real good setup yet for filming. So I've got this on my ring lamp. And it is very precariously perched. So, okay. Now I'm going to start working, doing the sides, and just get as good as I can, a nice little miter going on if I can. Okay, and just kind of fold that over, bring it over. And yeah, it's messy. Same thing over here. Just use your fingernails and kind of pull it into that glue. Work it down. I pull it. And wipe the fingers. And this is supposed. Hi friends, okay, I'm back. Got both of the backs ready to go. The glue is still damp, but they're pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good, hey? So, I would rather something, what is it Annie says? be finished than perfect. And we're definitely not going to be perfect here, but hopefully we're going to get some finishing done. And I have my 2 pieces of mat board ready for these, the fronts for the stitch piece. And I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to take this outside and spray it with my basting spray, quilting basting spray. Just give a light coating on the top and then come back and lightly adhere it. Now these I am going to pin so I can move them and adjust them a little bit better because I want to be sure to get them as centered as I can. So I'm going to go spray this down and I'll be right back. I adhered, just sprayed a light coat of the basting spray on the back of this foam core and lightly pressed it to the front and got it what looked like would be centered. So, and from looking at the front, it looks like it's pretty centered. Of course, this, if you were doing a sampler or something like that, I have heard, and I've also done it, that you can run like a basting stitch along where you want your edge to be and do it all the way around. And then when you do it, you can line up that basting stitch and it would be perfectly centered. But with this, we're just going to eyeball it because I think it's going to be just fine. We do have a nice straight line right here that we can work from, and you know, pretty good straight line here. So it looks like it's about the same all the way around. And you can always take your ruler and just look and see. And it looks like from the stitch, that's 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, close to 1/4 inch, and a little bit different, but that's fine. A little bit more than 1/4 inch, but I think that's going to be fine. Okay, so that's lightly adhered. Now what I normally do is just take some of these pins and get it tacked down just a little bit in on the 4 sides. We're not going to pin it all the way around because we're just going to glue it. Try to keep it as simple as we can. It just goes right into the foam board. Okay. I'm just going to scoop this out of the way so I don't get glue on it. And then we're going to do this the same way as we did the backing. We're going to work with our 4 corners first. I took our new fur kit out in between. He is so cute. We got him this past Sunday. He came from a rescue. And I tell you, it was so wild. My blood pressure had been going sky high. And I didn't know what in the world was going on. And I'm on blood pressure medication. But I had been without a dog since Buddy passed away in May. And I was just really, missing having a pet. And asked Peter what he thought. And he said, it's up to you. I'm going to default to your timing on this. And I said, okay. So I started looking. There are an awful lot of animals that are in need of homes, but there's also a lot of people that are looking, and it's a competition. You don't realize who else has applied when you go to apply for one. When you fill out the paperwork and they do all the checks and everything, call your vet, call your friends. You have to send pictures of your house. And they want to be sure that the pets in their care are going to be well taken care of. And I'm glad they do that. That's good. Okay, we've got this glued down. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be fine. I'm going to just leave these few little pins in. I'll just go ahead and seat those down a little bit better. This pin works nice to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. Okay? And I'm just going to put a lot of glue on there. One thing that kind of helps to spread out the glue is a little stiff paintbrush. Well, not stiff, but a little paintbrush. Okay, I think that's pretty gooey. Yeah, we're just gonna set it down on there. Square up the edges. Give it a good press. Make sure it's all square, or as square as it can be. I'm going to put my ruler on it, and then this weight, and I'm going to let it sit there for a little while we prepare a trim. But first, I'm going to go rinse out my brush so I can get this glue out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. My brush is clean. That's one thing that's nice about Eileen's glue, is it's water soluble. Put it back in my mason jar. Now, I pressed 2 different trims. I don't have any left that I used on my other 2 batches. I love this, but I was not able to find it. But I want to do the same type of a treatment as this, with the loop, that goes to the front like this versus coming up, through the layers or up through the back. I tried that and it didn't work as good. So we're going to do the loop on top. This is all glued together. Now, after we're all is said and done and we get the trim on, then I'm going to put it face down with a weight on top of it, something flat, and then a weight on top, and let it sit overnight and really get nice and set. But anyway, I have these two trims that I think would work. Rick Rack. I've got this one that's a little thin and a little bright. I don't know, something about it might be just a little too bright. So, not sure about that one. Then I've got this other Rick Rack. I'm not sure where I got it, but it's been in one of my drawers for a while. And it's a little wider. And it's more of the ecru color. So I'm thinking I might go with that. What do you think? I think I might go with that. A little wider. I will end up having to take these pins out after all, unless I can some way manage to get the loops so they fall right on it. But chances of that happening are probably kind of slim. We'll see. So anyway, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure around all the way around, and that's 15 1/4. So I need 15 1/4. And then this loop is we'll say 3 1/4. So that's an additional, what, 6 1/2. Okay, so that's 21 3/4. And then we want a little bit of an overlap. I'm going to just add another inch just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to cut it 22 3/4 inches. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way since we're not going to be using it. So we need 22 3/4. I'm just going to measure that on my quilting mat here. Oh, I guess you can't see that, so I'll come up here and measure it. 22 3/4. Okay. I'm going to take it right from the center, match up these edges. Okay. And I need 3 1/4 inch here. So I'm going to mark with my Frixion pen where I'm going to stitch it. Okay. Take one of these pins just to pin it together in case it comes apart between now and there. So I'm going to do a seam right there, and that's going to be my loop. Then this is going to go around the sides. So I'm going to go stitch that together on my sewing machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I sewed this on my sewing machine, and I went back and forth just to really lock that in. So now we have a loop that we can use for the top. And then I also need to mark the center of this. So we're going to say that's right there, probably right where that pin is. See? So we're going to use a few pins just to to get this in place and see how it looks. If it looks okay before we go gluing it down permanent. You know, it would be cute on this too is to use beaded pins. Oh, that might be a little much, but that'll be the center. Just make sure we've got enough to go all the way around. These little sequins pins are kind of hard to handle. They're so little. Woo-wee. Okay, that's going to have to come out for sure. Just kind of scratch that hole out. Yeah, that's going to work out pretty good. I'll take a pair of scissors and just give that a little snip. Same thing with that. Just kind of clean up the edges a little bit. So I think we're going to fit just fine. Okay. So we're going to start with this side. Go ahead and take those pins out because we know we're good. And we'll just start laying down some glue. And on this, it might even be easier. Let me take that out. Like I said, we learn as we go here. Might even be easier to lay down a little bit of glue. Got our center marked. Go ahead and lay down our glue here. Yep. The glue that's getting on my mat, I can go ahead and I can wash that off. Oops, I get out of screen, out of shot there. Press. I love working with Rick Rack. That's fun because it gives it that kind of a lacy rippled effect. It's pretty. And before we even think about hanging this, it's got to really dry well though. So there we go. We have a finish. Need to clean it up a little bit. what you think. And if you've got any input as to how I could do things different, please let me know. Because like I said, I am learning along with you. Okay, friends. There we go. Thanks for asking. Bye now.